Hey guys, thank you for clicking on this video. I really do appreciate it. But today I have a, semi-interesting project. I am working on a 3D printer. So this 3D printer I've had for a few years and it kept giving me problems by like wanting to self-destruct. So I went and bought a Bamboo Labs printer and love, oh my eyes are super dark. There we go. Love all of the stuff that it does automatically to be able to, be reliable.
Amazing.
It has auto bed leveling and flow dynamics calibration and all kinds of silly things because it has a bunch of sensors on it. So my kids are wanting to get into 3D printing. I don't want to necessarily tie up my good printer with their prints all the time. So I am going to try to turn this Core XY printer with a plastic case from Anycubic that never sold well in the States into something that's more reliable. And in order to do that, I'm going to head over to my friend's house who is way heavier into 3D printing than I am and see if he can teach me something about putting this together. The first thing I did though while I was gone is I put Clipper on it. I used a process, I don't know how to say it, it's called Kia. I'll show the website right here. It's a guide by Cineos. Adding Clipper to it. So if you're not familiar with Clipper, it's a piece of software that runs on a Raspberry Pi or Raspberry Pi type of device, and then you could add a whole bunch of features to it and not have to use the underpowered board that these printers tend to come with. For the bed leveling, I'm adding this BL Touch, and it's nice that I got this Big Tree Tech board because it has a header on it for the BL Touch directly.
Wrong, wrong, wrong.
So you don't have to run that to the main board of the printer. And then I also bought this accelerometer, which allows you to add a feature called input shaping. We just designed this little bracket for the BL Touch to plug into for this printer because nobody's really added it to this printer yet. And our washing machine is singing at us. And sorry about the fan noise. It's like 114 degrees outside and we're just trying to survive. Okay, so I was wrong about plugging the BL Touch into the Raspberry Pi. The header that's on there is actually for an accelerometer, and that accelerometer, even though I bought it from the same company, the one that I got has a USB-C port on it instead of that little cable. But this is the order. There's this little microcontroller here on the bottom where you have a power, a ground, and a signal switch to control the BL Touch, and then this becomes your limit switch. So I'll have to replace this little Z limit switch right here with this limit switch that's inside the BL Touch, and then it will know where to home the bed to.
Theoretically.
Wish us luck. Alright, we're checking to see if the magic smoke's going to come out. We got the Pi powered, we have those other cables turned in. Let's see if we have splody. No smoke yet. No smoke. Okay, we are back at my house. We brought the printer back. It's been like a week, I think. But we got the firmware flashed on this. I'm going to share all of the resources that I use for this in the description, all the links. We thought we had everything hooked up and ready, and then we went to go home the Z-axes, and then we found out that we had an issue with the BL Touch. This took like an hour to figure out. So I'll get a new one of these from Amazon, and then hopefully show you the thing working and get this thing tuned up and show you some prints from it. So just to recap for myself, because it's been about 2.5 weeks, I think I figured out what happened in the meantime. So we bought the BL Touch, which a lot of people in the 3D printing community know that's basically made for the Ender, and it plugs right into the Ender microcontroller. Well, what I'm working on here is an Anycubic, and it's not an Ender.
Oh, really?
And this board, upon further inspection, has like, right there, has like fan headers coming out of it, and other control lines, and this ribbon cable, and these 4 limit switches, and this other, what looks like a power strip of some kind. Anyway, this board can handle a lot of power going through it. And those BL Touches, it turns out, are only rated for like 300 milliamps of current running through it. So I believe this was just causing too much current to go through the BL Touch and burn it out. It would just short circuit and mess up the sensor. So what I bought instead was, okay, this guy from BIQU or whatever. So this is another kind of micro probe. You might be wondering what's going to be different about this one.
Let me know.
Okay, well, I'll tell you anyway.
And there's two things. One thing is that I'm not going to plug it into this board. I'm going to plug it right into the Pi or Big Tree Tech board that I'm using for the printer. And then secondly, this said on Amazon that it was rated for 2 amps of overcurrent. So hopefully plugged into the Pi and on the microcontroller, this will not fail. Okay, I have bad news for me, not for you. This little guy is way smaller than the BL Touch. Right there's where we had it mounted. Right in this guy. Nope. Right in this guy, right here. Which, the probe right here, and as you can see, this nozzle is like a full inch below that, or Jolly Rancher, because Americans will use anything but the metric system.
Go America.
Now I got to figure out where to put it, and this barely worked for the BL Touch, so I guess it's time to take stuff apart and see how I can figure out how to get it mounted. Maybe I'll just make a new bracket like this and just extend this part the amount of length it needs to go. But that means moving over to CAD on the PC. So we'll be right back so you don't have to watch that boring part. Alright, we have it hooked up. I modeled and printed this little bracket on my other 3D printer. I put these wonderful slots in it so we can have easy height adjust, so I didn't have to try to measure everything to make it perfect. Did have to cannibalize this cable a little bit to get it to all the pins on the board. So there's a few things left. What I have left to do is to tune the printer. So I got some Overture PLA out. I'll be able to tune this and feed this and then do pressure advance. I think I'm going to put in a 0.6 nozzle over a 0.4 millimeter. I think I'm going to put in a 0.6 nozzle over a 0.4 millimeter nozzle and then calibrate to that. Okay, I have done the first calibration print on this. Everything looks pretty good. Getting a couple of artifacts right here, and on the back this little brim that went around the outside. It doesn't seem to be printing back here, but this isn't a printer calibration video. There's lots of videos out there from Maker's Muse and a handful of other ones. I'll see if I can put some cards up at the top for you and also in the description. I will get to tuning this and I will show you my first actual print that's not a bed level test. I have a couple of test prints here to show you. This is, let's see if we can get this in the light. This is a pretty good one that came out. The tolerances fit pretty well. The lid slides, all that kind of stuff. This is another tight tolerance print where you can print threads, 2-threaded screw. That's often used in machining to see how good of a machinist you are. And then I also added a 0.6 millimeter nozzle to this so I can get it to print faster. So I can see if I can print cosplay for my kids. This is one piece that came out. I think it had some slicer issues. This part had some thin walls. I ended up printing the same thing on my bamboo, so you can see the difference. See how all these facets are smooth and there's no holes in them like there are in this one. But I was printing another thing that I was printing for a shop here in town, and I printed a few on my bamboo and they turned out fantastic. I don't have any with me currently to show you, but when I printed one on the Anycubic, what happened was I had a bed adhesion issue. It wouldn't stick, and it put all 45 meters of filament right here at the end of the hot end.
Well, that's just great.
My moral of the story is, if you want to tinker with a 3D printer, go get an Ender or something common that people mod all the time, not an Anycubic. And if you want a printer that just prints,
Bamboo Lab glue stick.
yeah, go pick up a Bamboo Lab, no matter which one it is. That one works almost flawlessly all the time, and if there's something wrong that I don't get off of that, it's because my slicer settings are messed up. I decided to aptly name this printer the Shampoo, which we're going to apply the stickers in just a second, because it's not nearly as good. And it might have some of the features, but they only half work. Alright guys, I also came up with a model number. There we go. We've got the Shampoo Lab POS. I'm not sponsored. I bought my own printers. I buy all my own stuff on this channel. I mean, I'll take stuff if companies want to give it to me. But as far as everything else, so far, I've bought all my own stuff. And I will disclose any time to you that any company gives me anything, because I feel like that's fair. So we've got the Shampoo Lab POS. I think it turned out fantastic, except for the part that the printer sucks with bed adhesion. That might be able to be fixed with a PEI sheet or something, but this build volume's super weird. I decided I don't care anymore, that I'd rather worry about getting stuff and worrying about modeling and getting other projects done than care about a printer that is not worth putting any more time into.